When I first got sober, I realized quickly that getting sober was not just about quitting substances. Instead, it was about rebuilding everything: my routine, my mindset, and my body, and especially my nutrition. Back then, I was extremely underweight. My energy was low, my sleep was terrible, and my cravings still controlled me, even after being sober for quite some time. I thought getting sober would fix all this, but I gotta tell you, if your nutrition isn't in place, recovery can feel like a constant uphill battle. In this video, I will share you the changes that I made in my early recovery that helped me to transform my energy, my sleep, my digestion, and also even my confidence. And I will explain how nutrition became one of the most powerful tools I used, not only just to stay sober, but to actually thrive. Section 1, the starting point. When I got sober, my body was in survival mode. Years of drinking and using had stripped away not only just my energy, but also my ability to nourish myself properly. I was vegan at the time, and while I started out with good intentions, my diet was not really balanced. I was eating soy and lots of vegan processed like meaty things, but very little variety. My protein sources weren't diverse enough, and my gut was struggling a lot back then. The bloating and fatigue, and also lack of proper recovery from my workouts, were constant reminders for me that something wasn't working. And on top of that, I had no structure. I'd eat at random times or skip meals or rely on quick fixes, but my body was screaming for consistency and I wasn't really giving what it needed. The second section was about the first shift that I made about whole foods and structure. The very first step that I made was shifting from processed to whole foods. Instead of like loading up on vegan junk food, I started focusing on simple, real ingredients like rice and oats and potatoes, fruits, veg, nuts, and seeds. Whole foods are super powerful because they stabilize your blood sugar, they also regulate your mood, and also help you reducing your cravings. In recovery, cravings are not just about substances, but you can find your cravings in food too. If you're constantly spiking and crashing in your energy, you're much more vulnerable to relapse. The second shift was building structured eating times, and for the first time, I created consistency. I actually had breakfast, I had lunch, dinner, and snacks in between. That rhythm taught my body to expect fuel at certain times and gave me the stability that I'd never had before. When you set a rhythm with food, you're telling your brain that you can rely on yourself, and that's a huge win in recovery because so much of your healing is about rebuilding the trust with yourself. Section 3 is all about prepping and planning ahead. The third game changer was meal prepping. In early recovery, decision fatigue is real. You're already fighting urges, processing emotions, and rebuilding routines, and the last thing you want is to stand in the kitchen and wondering, what am I going to eat? By prepping meals ahead of time, I removed the chance of making impulsive choices where I was tired or stressed. I had food ready, balanced, and it was healthy and also supporting for my goals. It also reduced stress because instead of every meal being a big question mark, I had certainty, and certainty in recovery is very safe. Is your safety is exactly what you need. And when you know what's coming next, you're less likely to fall back into your old patterns. Section number 4, we're talking about sugar and balance and binge eating. I'll be honest, in my first month sober, sugar was my best friend, or at least one of my best friends. It felt like the only reward I had left, but it quickly became just another trap. I'd eat too much and then crash and then sometimes even binge. This is where I learned an important lesson. Like, you don't have to cut out your sweets completely, but you do have to bring it back into balance. I made sure my main meals were around protein, healthy carbs, and fats. And this is exactly what stabilized me, so I wasn't reaching out for sugar out of depression or out of feelings. And I have to tell you, binge eating is just another form of numbing. Very straightforward here. It's just another way of avoiding your feelings or anything relatable to that. Once I started eating balanced meals and allowing myself treats in moderation, the need to binge slowly disappeared. A big takeaway for you is don't try to be perfect, aim for balance. Structure reduces the power that food has over you. Section 5, transitioning back to meat. Transitioning back to meat. The fact even saying this. About a year ago, I was sober for 2.5, nearly 3 years. I made another big change. I went back to eating meat. This wasn't about preference or lifestyle, it was all about my health. My gut was struggling and my protein intake was so low, especially for the goals that I had. And my body also needed more variety to recover properly. Once I reintroduced meats like chicken, fish, and lean beef, my digestion had improved so good. I got stronger in the gym and also my energy was stable again. It was like a turning point for me physically. And the point is, there is no one size fits all kind of diet. What matters is that your nutrition supports your recovery, your energy, and also your goals. And for some people, that's plant based, and for others, that includes animal products. And the key here is just to listen to your body and willing to adjust where you need it. Section 6. The results of these changes and shifts showed up almost immediately. My energy went up, I wasn't draining myself anymore throughout the day, my sleep improved, and my body wasn't fighting any crashes or any bloating anymore. My digestion finally calmed down. My stress levels dropped because I wasn't constantly hungry or overthinking about food. And also my cravings for both sugar and substances got so much easier to manage. My nutrition became a cornerstone for my recovery, because when your body feels supported, your mind has space to heal, and when your mind is clear, you can actually start growing instead of just being in that fucking survival mode. If you are in early recovery, don't underestimate the power of nutrition. You don't have to overhaul everything at once. You can just start small, like eat real food. Add structure at when you eat, and also what's really helpful, just prep in advance so you're not making decisions on impulse. Balance out your sweets instead of swinging in between restriction and binges. These changes gave me energy, focus, and stability that I'd been missing for so many years. Sobriety gave me a second chance, but nutrition, that gave me the strength to live fully. If you want personal support with your nutrition, mindset, and routines, DM me nutrition on Instagram, or check out the link in the description to grab my free information pack and learn how my full program can fully support you. Also, let me know in the comments, what is one change that you want to make in your nutrition right now?